Hello everyone, welcome to BizzTalk World's talk show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Mr. Sudhakar Reddy Gade with us. He's the founder of Nirvedha Executive Coaching Solutions Private Limited, and he's also on boards of a couple of organizations as an independent director as well. He holds an experience of more than 2 decades with him. He has extensive coaching experience with over 4,000 hours of client contact in tandem with large-scale leadership development programs with Fortune 500 organizations and their leaders as well. So he's a mentor, he's a coach, he's an advisor. He's everything that one needs to be successful in their life, like a mentor. So let's get some motivation, let's get some coaching from him today. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the man himself. Hello, Sudhakar. How are you doing?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Suraj. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. All right, so I tried my level best to cover, maximum about you here. But it would be great if we can start this conversation by hearing something about you in your own words. So if you can guide us through your journey so far, that would be wonderful.
Great. Yeah, I think, Suraj, like you rightly introduced me, I have around 2.5 decades of professional experience in the corporate world. And over the last 5 years, I've been an executive coach, a solopreneur, you can call. Okay. I've started my journey in the professional world as a medical rep. I'm not sure how many people know what medical rep is all about. A professional who goes to the doctor and promotes the product of his or her company and guides the doctor or else requests the doctor to prescribe to his or her patients. That's the role that which I've started my career in the early 90s. I think during those particular days, I think you don't even know how the professional career looks like 10 years ahead or 5 years ahead. I had a wonderful mentor back in those days who always used to give us a vision in terms of, okay, you have to look 5 or 10 years ahead of you, not today and not tomorrow. And that really lived with me all through my life, all through 2.5 decades. And I used to dream big. Means a medical rep who doesn't know what various roles within the organization used to dream as a general manager. Back in those days, there's no concept of CEO, largely. Eventually, I think late 90s, the CEO concept came in and the Indian organizations had started having CEOs. So that's the dream what I used to have. So a journey from medical rep till the board, I think that's a very long journey. Even I moved 3 different industries, starting with the medical, that is pharmaceutical and life sciences industry, then moving on to market research, then IT space. Now I'm in a 4th avatar, that's as a coach. So I had the 3 avatars in the corporate world and now the 4th avatar as a coach. So that's my journey all through.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, yes, it's quite a journey from medical representative to being part of boards and advising leaders of Fortune 500 organizations. I'm talking about like great names that you have in your profile with you. So we'll talk about them as well. We'll talk about how coaching really works for them. But there are 2 things that I want to address here. First thing is, you have a great experience with you. I mean, we can really see the passion in your voice, of course, and it seems to be very, very calm and composed individual. That's what a mentor, really needs to have as a primary quality in themselves. Second is, you can call me Sagar. I guess there's some confusion. It's Sagar, not Suraj.
Yeah.
So sorry, I thought let me not. No issues. People call me, people call me Sagar. There are so many combinations that they call, but it's a simple name. It's Sagar. Yeah. So you can call me that. No issues. All right. So, Sudhakar, you said that you have started your, as you mentioned, your journey from being a medical rep now to where you are. You must have faced, so many, like, if you have the obstacles in your life. I mean, there are so many hurdles and bumps and that you have, you must have come across too. I want to ask you whether you came across to them or not, because of course I believe that yes, there were a few or there were a lot of them. How do you really overcome or supersede them? That would be my question.
Sure. I think in anyone's journey, I think if at all one says I haven't got any obstacles, then I need to really meet that individual. I think no individual on this Mother Earth wouldn't have an obstacle. Obstacles are part and parcel of our life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm no alien to those. Yes, I definitely had a lot of obstacles. Let me quote one small instance. At a very early age, I got my first break as a manager within 3 years. Okay. So back in those days, particularly in the pharma industry, I am amongst veterans. I would say the individuals who are 15, 16 years experienced by that time. I was just a small, if I have to say in a colloquial language, I'm a bacha in front of them. So the moment the head office announced, okay, Sudhakar is going to lead you guys, there was a big chaos. Means a commotion, I would say, saying that, hey, how come this guy who came just yesterday, he is going to lead us? That's a big challenge for me. And now the company, what they said is, hey, Sudhakar, see, this is on your table. We have given you the promotion. Now it is for you how you handle and take it forward. Means the ball is in my court. I was really perplexed. I don't know what to do. Then, if at all I have to go along, means lead these people, I need to take them along. So I need to get closer to them. Till yesterday, I was a colleague. Now, today or tomorrow onwards, I'm going to lead. So that's a complete different context. So this is biggest challenge for me. And part of that particular challenge, there's another bigger piece. One individual is a union leader. So the complexity has increased now. So what I've done is I started going along with them, saying that, hey, don't look me like I'm your leader or something. I'm also part of you. But make sure that whenever you are falling or whenever there is a gap, I'm there to fill you up. That too in front of the client, that is our doctors. So that was my first submission to them. So eventually we started the journey. I need to first go piece by piece. Means I've chosen one individual who is the kingpin amongst all the seniors. So first I need to break this individual. So I used to work along with him and I gained confidence of him. So eventually he campaigned with other people saying that, hey, Sudhakar is not a leader per se. He is part of us. I think he is quite supportive, quite helpful. He understands things. Let us support him. I think with that particular thing, I overcome that first hurdle. And eventually there are a lot of other hurdles, but I think this is the major hurdle for me, which I can look back and say, if at all at that point in time, I wouldn't had that. Probably as a leader, I might have not grown.
Oh, that's right. And that's I guess a quite interesting thing. I mean, that's where I guess your journey started to, understand individuals and how to really work with them. Because being a young brat along with an experienced individual and leading them is quite a chaotic situation that one can find themselves in. I can totally relate to it, how it would have been with you. All right, so coming to your main genre now, I mean, it's about your journey and what you have been past. Now let's talk about the present. You're a coach, you are a mentor, you advise the corporates and their leaders and the managers and the C-level executives precisely. Why do you think it is necessary for them to be guided? I mean, they already have an organization. They know how to really run a business. They have people like CFOs, like CMOs and chief revenue officers and everything. So why do you think the coaching or the advisors or the mentorship is needed for them? And how coaching can enable leaders to do more?
Sure. I think I just wanted to quote one particular, quote out here. What got you here wouldn't get you there. See, I definitely understand every leader grows into a position because of his past experiences and past virtues. Okay, and that's absolutely. But as the leader grows, there's a lot of isolation. Means he or she wouldn't have any immediate support to fall back. Means if at all an individual at a CEO level wants to take a particular decision, he has to own and completely take on his own. Means he just can't believe or trust someone wherein he can bounce the thoughts. And who knows if the other person is guiding him correctly.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, the coach is the one who is a confidant. He's a neutral person, isn't it? So he can bounce his or her thoughts to the coach so that he can revalidate whether he's going or else he's taking the right decision. That's one small example. The other one is typically all these leaders, they grow into the senior leadership position, that is the C-suite roles, from the operational or the technical roles. Eventually, there are certain behaviors which they take them along in the C-suite roles, which are not so okay in those particular roles. There are certain behaviors which you need to leave, and there are certain new behaviors which you need to own, or else which you need to hone. Uh, this is where the executive coach's role comes in. Because anything and everything is the behavioral aspect of a leader, isn't it? Let me quote a small example. I was coaching one individual. He's a COO. Okay, he just got into that particular role a couple of months back, and the board decided we need to engage a coach so that he would be means transitioned successfully from his operational role to the C-suite role. So this gentleman, he developed his career by one particular philosophy: you delegate less. See, as a leader, delegation is a very vital tool, isn't it? Which a lot of leaders either they overuse it or they underuse it, but mostly they underuse it. So this is the gentleman who says, no, Sudhakar, I can't delegate anything and everything. He always keeps a lot of things close to his chest. He feels that, no, I have to be on it and I have to do it. So that particular thing is dragging him a lot. Means as a COO, there are a lot of conceptual things which you need to work on.
Correct.
Rather than the operational things. Though he is an operational head, but still you need to guide and give a guidance to the entire operational team. So after 2 or 3 months, he understood, okay, now he needs to delegate a major chunk of his particular thing to his next level. Yeah. And that's where these people even build the next level leadership. So this is the basic thing which a lot of leaders, they forget. And the coach plays that eventual role, a cementing force between these two things. If that addresses the whole thing. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And what's the difference? I mean, I understood the major concept of coaching and advising. I mean, I already know that, but it was, moreover for our viewers to understand why is it necessary for the corporates and for the individuals, for the organization as well, whatever you call them. But if I have to ask you something, I mean, what's the difference between coaching a C-level executive or like a head of marketing? You know what I mean? Like a C-level executive or a regular executive. I mean, what's the difference in the approach? The delegation is something that you mentioned. Apart from this, what's the other thing that one can, the basic thing, including the startup or something?
Yeah, I think there's no any big difference between any level of a leader. Okay, the only difference is first we need to understand the individual. The individual's what is the role per se, and what behaviors that are impacting him to perform. So even a normal leader means, let me give a small example. An individual who just got promoted as a leader. Even there, the challenges of this particular leader would always be a behavioral issue again. Like I said, my particular example back in those days, if at all I'm unable to get along with my team and I behave like a real boss, be a bossy to these people, I think we can't get along, isn't it? The journey wouldn't be so easy for both as a leader as in colleagues. Okay, so that's where one has to really understand, and coach would help him to understand that. The basic thing here is for this particular leader, the junior leader, a self-realization. I, as an individual, I need to realize what are those limiting behaviors. Most of the leaders, 90% of the leaders, they don't know that they are having certain limiting behaviors. Unless and then we talk to their juniors, their peers, or their seniors. So typically we do a 360 with them, with every leader to understand how the leader is really looking like in the work life.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Generally, I ask a regular question to individuals to understand what's their approach and what's the average approach on this term. Who creates a leader or who creates a boss? Is it the leader or the individual who creates himself as a leader or a boss, or is it the employees or the peers who create him, who makes him that leader or a boss? In that category of leader or boss.
I think, see, boss, I say the terminology is a passe. So this is brought in from the, the industrial era.
Yeah.
Now we are in the knowledge era. I think in the knowledge era, there's nothing, a term called as a boss.
Correct.
That's always a leader. Okay, the basic tenet or the basic difference between a boss and a leader is the boss is the one who commands the team, saying that, okay, today, these are the tasks which you're supposed to be doing, and report back by say 5 p.m. And I will have a say whether a particular team has to stay back, work beyond, blah, blah, whatever it is. That's the boss. Whereas the leader, he says, okay, hey, this is what we are supposed to be doing today. Now, let us brainstorm. Let us pull all our strengths into it, and let me know what you need as a support. And I would enable that so that we collectively get this task going ahead. So these are the two differences between a boss and a leader. And eventually, who makes the boss? I think it is that individual.
Yeah.
The basic difference is a boss demands and a leader commands. That's the basic
very
difference.
Well put. That's very well put. That's really beautiful. I guess we have to quote this either above or below the video. That's really beautiful. All right, great. That's wonderful. And you were very rightly mentioned. I mean, it's a knowledge era, so there's no boss. I mean, if I have to learn something, I can directly go to YouTube and learn anything that I want.
Absolutely.
I can learn hacking right there, like the ethical hacking. So I don't really need a boss for that, but you need a leader to guide you through how you can do it or how to really use it in a constructive way. Yeah, the navigation really works. Yeah. That's very well said, Sudhakar. So now coming to, we have understood about your profile, about your journey, your past, your present. Let's not talk about the future, but let's talk about your advices, because you advise to so many individuals, right? You go to so many offices. You must have developed so many shows and the places that you do your sessions. Let me have a quick word from you. What would you advise to young professionals, not in your industry, of course, but across the industry? What should be their approach in terms of getting productive or, getting something more where they are right now?
I think, to this particular new generation, that's the millennials. I wouldn't say that one can give any advice. They're already well informed. They have anything and everything under their belt. The only thing is, if at all I have to really advise them, is the patience. Because this generation is highly impatient. To just give you one small example, at home, I have two millennials. I have two daughters, grown up. The moment you stop Wi-Fi, my both daughters come out of my room, their rooms, sorry. Means if at all I have to talk to them, I need to switch off the Wi-Fi. That means that's what the impatience is all about. It's all a click of a button. I click a button and you immediately get something, isn't it? So the patience is one thing. And the other thing is the perseverance. But these are the two basic tenets to go a long way.
That's right. That's right. I mean, internet is the new thing that we are seeing. I mean, the millennials, I mean, you of course, but the millennials are really adopting it the way it should be. I mean, we have seen the wired phones, we have seen the pages, then the mobile phones, then the smartphones, and the Androids. Then now I guess I'm not sure now what's coming for us. We have seen incoming calls for 3 rupees, and now we are seeing like outgoing calls for free. So like through WhatsApp or something. So that's something that it has been a beautiful journey for millennials, and we really admire that. But yeah, it has to be again constructive and navigated through a right way. Otherwise, it can go anywhere. Destructive zone is even bigger than the productive one. All right. So Sudhakar, before we end this session, because it has been a beautiful session till now, how did you really like this session? what's your take on the discussions that we had right now? And is there something that you want to add from your end so that the viewers can also understand something more, that if you miss something?
I think, yeah, that's wonderful. The work what you guys are doing. I've gone through your videos, a couple online. I think they're quite informative, and these are the things which the young generation wanted to look at. I think back in those days, in my days, if at all I need to seek some experience, I need to really go tap a lot many doors and seek their support and help and talk to them. Really sit and talk to them. Today, at a click of a button, you can see anyone. Means right from the famous CEOs of the world to people like me. Means anyone is available on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's a big, that's an advantage of this particular platform, and you're doing a great job. The one thing is, maybe what you can probably add is a day in people like us, what typically we do in a day. Means if at all we showcase that to the outside world, probably they would know if at all they wanted to be a coach, if at all they wanted to be a CEO, it would give them a peak view how it really looks like. The moment you say a CEO, people always think, okay, a very cushy job, the corner office, a chauffeur-driven car, blah, blah, and all. But what sort of a pain one undergoes, no one knows. So
Yeah.
I think that's one thing which probably gives some more, means elevates this entire program.
That's a great it's a great suggestion that I would have, and let's do it in a next episode that we'll again do with Mr. Sudhakar again, and we'll discuss about his daily life, what he really goes through, and when he goes to session, what sort of people he really meet. There are some intelligent heads, there are some kick heads, and there are some crazy heads everywhere. So I guess we can discuss about that as well, and we can learn about that in the second episode, and we'll surely do a part 2 of this particular session. And meanwhile, let's end the session with some thanking notes. So Sudhakar, I would love to thank you so much for sharing so much insights with us about your profile. And of course, we look forward to having this great chat with you again in the future.
Sure.
To discuss what's going on in the international business industry. And as I mentioned, we'll do a second episode of this as well, so that we can discuss something more in a more interesting and witty manner. And for our viewers, I'm sure that you like this video. And if you liked it, please click on that like button, share this video, and also click on that subscribe button and subscribe to ClickAway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming in from industry leaders like Mr. Sudhakar Reddy Gade. This was Sagar for BizzTalk World signing off. Thank you very much.